Now, allow me to take you back in something that you mentioned before regarding the issue of equity, which in my opinion is one of the most important aspects of the blue-green infrastructure. Now, while blue-green spaces offer many benefits, as we have already discussed, access can often be uneven across different urban areas, exactly as you have mentioned priorly. Now, how do you propose ensuring marginalized and low-income communities also benefit from this infrastructure? I know it's a very tricky question sometimes.
Well, I would say it's not that tricky in the sense it's more tricky in implementing it, but it's not tricky in how to address it, in the sense that first of all, going back to what I was saying before, the simple fact of defining healthy green space, right, if I could say, needs to take into account the accessibility issue. Accessibility both in financial and in terms of distance, physical accessibility. Again, if you have a city, right, that, I don't know, with any given population, and also size, right? And then you have your green spaces as a proportion of that population and that size, only located, right, within the city quarters with high income communities. Then in total, you can say, oh, cool, sorry, pardon my language, but 50% is ensured by green spaces. That's a very good ratio between built and green environment, right? But then if all this green is in high income neighborhoods, then you will increase the health equity gap, right? So but the simple fact of how you define healthy or green space and its impact on health needs to take into consideration the aspect of accessibility, physical and in terms of social and economic. So already by doing this, you address inequalities. The second thing is about involving communities in shaping these public spaces and these green spaces, because you might be facing a lot of cultural issues that need to be taken into account how you build those green spaces, right? So, for example, I am saying anything in a culture where it's not well seen to be, hiding somewhere. I'm just saying you need to be more transparent about exchanges. So the benches will need to be, in a place where it's visible, or where if it's a climate-related issues, they are very different, right? So you need to take into consideration the needs of the populations that are most vulnerable, and therefore by having them involved in the urban planning process through health impact assessments, through community participatory engagement processes, etc., you will address equity issues.